Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. I am joined by the human turret, the MVP, the world champ, Sam LaRue, a.k.a. Octane. We got the analytical mind himself, the world champ, Christopher Duarte, a.k.a. Parasite. We got the multi-world champion, multi-champion legend, icon to the Call of Duty space, Patrick Price, a.k.a. Aches. And then, of course, we got the one and only, the executive producer, Mr. Benjay Nassim. Ladies and gentlemen, give yourselves a round of applause for the cast of The Flank. It's been an absolute pleasure. Guys, how we doing today, man? Matches today were absolute fucking dog shit. And also, there was a lot of delays. A lot of delays. It was bad, guys. How we doing?
Yeah, time torching was pretty real today. I would say all the matches were bad. I think the last match was definitely an intriguing one, and we'll get to there at the tail end of the show. But
yeah,
man, has it never been more clear that there are 4 really good teams in the CDL, and then
it is
everybody else
very top heavy. Very top heavy. I mean, we predicted this going into the year, to be fair.
Oh, 100%.
Looking at the rosters.
The champs last year.
Yeah, and I definitely think, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if people make changes before Major 1, but if they don't make changes, we're definitely going to see a lot of them after Major 1, for sure. And we'll kind of go through the teams and talk about that. But how are you guys doing, man? Pat, what's going on with you, man? You doing all right?
Yes, sir. Man, I'll be honest. I was watching the first game today, the Faze Vegas game.
Uh-huh.
I fell asleep during it, Tom. No bullshit.
Oh, shit.
I was laying in bed on my phone watching it and woke up and series is over.
You passed out, Slay. You passed out.
Yeah,
it'd be like that, man, especially with the delays today. Sam, how are you, bro? You've been tuning in. You were losing full until you ate.
Yeah, Dallas got slims. LAT got slims. It's not a good day for the teams that I enjoy watching at all. Yeah, a lot of delays today. It was a weird one for sure.
Yeah. Chris, yourself, you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, but it's just intriguing how, just looking back at how the year started and how things have developed, at least until this point. Some of the teams that you probably didn't expect to be any decent and probably get washed. Some of the teams that are, actually at least somewhat competitive. Like I'm thinking Seattle and like LAG. I think a lot of those teams were kind of just like whenever looking at the rosters, but then you got the other rosters who are just kind of like we're rated a little bit highly, and they're not giving us shit.
Yeah,
they're not giving us anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ben, yourself, before we move on and get this thing going.
The usual sports update. Watched Tottenham to get to a 2-2 draw today. That was nice. They had 6 players out.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately all weekend, man, the football all weekend has just been blowout.
Damn,
so
that's tough.
It's just honestly between esports and sports, like it's just been no dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and with some dopeless games in COD and stuff like that, we're gonna give our thoughts. We're gonna go through each series, and then after the fact, we are going to join the Discord and we are going to talk to some of y'all. We're gonna do some community questions with you guys today. I know we did this on one of our shows. The last time we had COD, we did it on the Sunday, so it would be nice if we did it again. I know a lot of people really liked when we talked to you guys, the community. So we're going to do that. We're going to lock in, and we're going to have a good show. Let's get into it. The first series of the day, we have Atlanta Faze going up against the Vegas Legion. And, I mean, there's the box score right there. There's the scores. Quake 3-0. I mean, this was something light for Atlanta Faze. I mean, Sam, why don't you start us off? What were your thoughts in this series?
What are your thoughts on map 1 that we just didn't see?
Also, we didn't see map 1, and there was some
we
delay
were getting map 1 updates via Christopher Crowder from ASIM. So map 1 was actually not streamed. Apparently it was good. 225, 250. Don't know a single thing that happened in the map, but I mean, it's a 3-0 for Faze. Yeah. We skipped the prediction for it yesterday.
Chris was giving us updates. He was giving us updates. Right? That was the only map that was close to the only good map of the series we didn't get to see. And then the other 2 maps were just complete blowouts.
Classic tweeted that apparently Drowsy got a 4-piece for the dub, and the scoreline, at least, not the scoreline, but the like his kill death and all that stuff kind of reflected it. This whole series just had his face stamped all over it. Yeah. I know it's Vegas, and they haven't been the best. However, I don't think we've had a Faze 4th, for a long time that is probably capable of being as good as Zach is when he's on point. Mm-hmm. And I know it's just, like I said, a Vegas game, but that's kind of scary for the rest of the league because we've seen Simp, how good he is. Celium, obviously, Mr. Consistent. Abizi puts on a lot of pressure, but Drazas had his shining moments, and he's just a tough player, and he's a grinder. So, it's going to be scary to watch these guys at events, man.
Yeah, I mean, Pat, you see the score line, you see the stat sheet. I mean, what are your thoughts on the series as a whole?
Vegas just stands no chance anytime they play this team. But Chris, going to your point about Draza, like this was also in the offseason why like I really like the NYSL change because again, like these top teams were making changes and improving. And it kind of reiterates that the NYSL change you see with Sib is kind of the same thing. Like they brought in a guy who has takeover potential, not just like filling a role for them. And so yeah, I mean it makes it even more exciting for these top dog teams for when whenever they'll finally get a series for them to match up.
Yeah.
And looking at the stat sheet too, it wasn't pretty. I mean, Vegas has just been having a real hard time, and even just seeing their faces like after the series. This is just a team now that I just can't imagine the vibe and the culture and just the energy with the squad can be good right now. I'm sure they're just down in the dumps. I mean, Sam, all you guys have played, right? I mean, Ben, you've been behind the scenes with some of our teams at some events. I mean, listen, when you're not winning matches like this and you're kind of on just an L streak after like loss after loss after loss, could take a toll on the mental, man. Could definitely take a toll on the mental. So not really too sure what's next for Vegas. I don't think they're going to make any changes going into Major 1, but they've definitely been really struggling, man. And it sucks because they've been competing in some of these maps, even with some of these top teams, but they're just not closing series. They're not getting anything done. So.
I mean, but Tom, they're also not winning. Like, yeah, true. They had 2 series, including the one that we talked about yesterday. They could have closed out.
Yeah.
But after today, they're 0-6 in control. Like, you're not winning and beating anybody good if you can't win map 3.
But what do you think their biggest problem is when it comes to control? Why can't they win a control?
I
Discipline,
mean,
kills. Like
yeah.
they just don't, their team just doesn't like scream discipline to me. I mean, it's the one game mode where I feel like you just get punished like way harder than everything else for just terrible plays, and it's not like a straightforward game mode. It's very dynamic in the way you want to play. It's a lot of situational like plays and reading, and they probably just they get outplayed.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody has any other final thoughts about Vegas or Faze or anything about this series, I mean, this series was a wash. So if you
Faze
guys have
godlike, bro.
Yeah.
They're the only top 4 team that hasn't had a moment where we're like, oh, they could maybe lose this. Like New York arguably had one. Optic had a reverse sweep. Like there's Faze just godlike, bro.
definitely
These
think
guys
Faze
have no room for.
hasn't lost their
They're
step
the
at all.
favorite.
Faze and Vegas have played 13 times, and Faze have won all 13 times in the history of the CDL.
Okay.
It's like the number 1 team against like the worst team, like statistically in the entire league over the couple of years. I mean, I'm not surprised.
I mean, look at Draza too. He had a great day today. 1.52, 10,000 damage. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, we know Simp has been like that guy for them, but I feel like at any moment, any one of these guys can turn up, and I think that's the beauty of Atlanta Faze, right? Like if somebody's having a bad day or having an off day, there's somebody else right there that can kind of pick up the slack. But there's not much slack to pick up with this roster. They've just all been frying on 4 cylinders. Chris, Ben, Pat, anything left in the series about Faze, Vegas, any of these guys?
Nah.
No, I think for Faze, we saw, we didn't really talk about the vetoes because obviously we didn't really see them on stream. Like they are definitely trying to run out the maps they haven't played yet in a competitive match and get them in a series. And the only maps remaining that they haven't played a Terminal Search. Didn't play a Skid Row Hardpoint yet, I don't believe. So those, one of those was in this series. I assume coming up next against Carolina next week, they're going to try and play one or both. But Faze will have a top seed, having won 5 straight this season.
That's good work. Let's move on to the next series. Next series, we had TJ Haley coming in for the Carolina Royal Ravens. He's on the 14-day contract. Obviously, Real, he was having some visa issues, so he's coming in from Carolina. But unfortunately, they were not able to win a map today as they fall 3-0 short to the Minnesota Rokkr. You can see the maps there. I mean, the hard point and the control, they were close. Control went to an overtime. When doesn't the invasion control go to an overtime? Minnesota Rokkr, they came out. Lamar had a great couple maps here. The first couple maps, Lamar was really kicking out for Minnesota Rokkr. But at the end of the day, Carolina continues to struggle. I think the woes from some of the guys on the team, like Godarex, another 0.65 from him. Everybody negative except for Gwyn, who honestly looked like he needed a little bit of help today. TJ had some moments where he was going crazy, but I think Gwyn's a good player. I think Carolina Ravens, they got players that can shoot. I just don't think they're meshing at all right now. I know a lot of you guys had Carolina in your predictions, Pat, Chris, Ben, I think most of you guys had Carolina. Sam, you definitely had Carolina. You had TJ
Tom,
going up there.
let's lay it how it is with this Carolina team, bro.
Okay.
They won 3 maps this year, and they've all been in one series. Like, I just think at this point, if you're this Carolina team, you got FaZe and Thieves coming up next. I think if any team should try and jump the line on roster changes, it should be this one, because whatever they have right now, even with Rail getting his visa thing sorted, it's just not going to work. I think they really need to think about potentially making one change before Major 1, seeing if it works and make another, or making 2 before. Because I think a lot of teams are going to make changes, and they're clearly getting the last of this tournament.
Make sure you have some context here. Remember, Clay came on the show before. Even though they've lost 3-0 every single time, does not mean it hasn't been close. Remember? Make sure we're giving context.
Get Godorex out.
Dead.
Period.
That's what Clay said. That's not what I said.
He's not playing good.
No, I know,
he hasn't been good this entire time. You know, the whole time he's been, playing with this team. As far as like the Real situation, obviously, I don't know how much faith they have in the fact that he'll come back, obviously dealing with whatever he's dealing with, and potentially be a game changer. But
I think they know he's coming back, Chris. I think they know he is coming back.
But what I'm saying is just Godorex he's got to go, bro. It is what it is. I don't think he's like his gameplay, like his style of gameplay is justifiable for the way he's playing. Like you could maybe like make that argument for certain players when they put up like bad stat lines. It's like, oh, they go in first, they do all this stuff, but like,
I disagree though. I mean, you have he's not like, who's the main AR on the team? Who's the main? Like, who's supposed to be like that one? So is it Godorex? Is it Clay? Like, who is it? It's Clay.
It's supposed to be Clay.
That's what I'm saying. Clay's been doing that for over a decade. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, it's not even just on Godorex and him just being slow. It's also just like a mix of players. Like, I just don't think the play styles are mixing up well. Like,
I'm gonna be honest, Clay, he might be a main AR, but that guy plays like a lunatic. Like, that guy doesn't just like camp. Like, he doesn't play slow.
100%.
He plays very loose. That's just how his gameplay style is. It's like a lot of people would like to look at him as like an older player, but he's a fast AR player the way he plays.
Yeah, but if you have people around Clay, like a flex that has more pace to him, that isn't afraid to just chow and go, and you have 2 sub players on top of that, I mean, Clay thrives in those environments. The goal is to make Clay your slowest player. Like, that's what you want. Like, you still want your main AR to still get aggressive at times. I actually really like that about Clay, that he's not afraid to get in the mix and get active as an AR player. Like, I feel like that's important.
This is a little off topic, but I think like the AR dynamic of like New York is probably some of the best AR dynamic we have right now. Like, Sib and Skies are both like really aggressive in the way they play. Skies maybe a little bit slower at times with the way he positions himself. But again, I think they pointed it out in the broadcast today, how those two like to get in the mix and they don't give a fuck if they have an AR. They have to get involved.
Skies is aggressive?
He's more aggressive than some other quote unquote main AR players you would put in that role. I'm saying I like their dynamic. A point is, Godorex is the odd man out here. I don't think you get rid of Clay. And Real, obviously, he's dealing with shit. So, I mean, depends on how much stock you really put into him coming back and whether you even keep him. But I mean,
I get rid of all of them except Gwen. Even when Real comes back.
Godorex needs to go, bro. Like, plain simple. Like, I can't sugarcoat it anymore. I can't like justify it. It's just, it is what it is. Like, his gameplay, his play style does not justify the statistics he's putting up and the results he's putting up for his team. Period. Like,
yeah, he's like I said, I think you've got to think about picking up an AR this week and some practice with it and go. And I just think waiting until Major 1, you're putting potentially too many CDL points at risk here. Like, at least try and do something.
Could you imagine if we got the Gwyn guys, bro? Like, I know Godorex was on that, but like, we got Linz and Abuza on this squad, like we should have.
Yeah, it would have been crazy.
With like a decent veteran that could like help them kind of mesh. Yeah, but
you might have been on to something, Pat.
Yeah,
never wrong as early.
I mean, there was also other options. I think there was they were looking at a lot of people. Clay, there was a period of time where Clay was looking at who to pick up as for a sub, like the 2 subs for a while.
Who did they? Speaking of sub, who did they sign? Like, who's their actual substitute?
I don't think they have one.
Yeah, I don't think they have one.
I thought it's not. Is it not a league rule anymore to have one?
Yeah, but everybody's just making the coach the sub now. To not have to pay.
Where can I send you links?
You can send them in Flank Production DM on Twitter. I'll just hide my screen and pull them up.
Well, I just think, look, like, they obviously gave Godorex a chance. Like, he played really well last year and it hasn't worked out, and they got to now adapt. Because
I got a question.
As I said earlier, like, they won 3 maps. There's in 1 series. You played 5 so far. Like,
do we think Godorex is facing kind of the same issue that Awakening is? I'm just saying, like,
Long time. I don't know if that's the right link.
think about I mean, like, I've played God Rex in the past. I was a sound whore. I'm be the one to say it. And now that we're getting rid of, like, you know, we're having dead silence on the map. We're having Pound DQ gone.
I want to agree with you just for the memes, but he was really good in Cold War and Challengers. I just think he's just not good enough in like the league right now, or maybe it's the game or it's the team. He's probably not that bad of a player. I'm sure if he goes back to Challengers, he'll find himself in a good situation. He'll play well. I think the team, the environment of the league, et cetera, it's just not meant for him. And it's not like, regardless if you think he might be talented enough to play in the league on another team, there's no room for him. So naturally he would go back down to Challengers. It is what it is. Like, just he's not going to fit on this roster. I don't think there's a world where he fits on this roster. Regardless, just get him out. Like, it is what it is.
I definitely think it was probably maybe like a confidence thing, maybe too. Like when you
just tell him the gameplay, man.
When you go from challengers to professional, it's a lot faster. The game's played a lot faster. I feel like at a pro level. Like, I just feel like it's. Well, I don't want to say fast in terms of, when I say fast, I don't mean people just running. More like decision making. You know, like the pro teams are like, they're really quick with their decisions. They're really quick on their positioning around the map. Like, they'll beat you to your spots. Like, I just think it's a different pace, and I mean, God Rex just hasn't found any rhythm or like any momentum.
Gameplay wise, the biggest thing you'll notice when it comes to challengers in the pro league is like how pros take space. The fact that they can measure how much distance they can cover on the map before they encounter like resilience. Sorry,
you good, bro? You're all right, bro. Let it out, man. Let it all out.
But basically, that's like the big difference maker, and I feel like he doesn't have that like in his gameplay yet. Oh my God, what is wrong with me?
Well, you say but this is a part. I mean, I know there were other internal factors as to why he fell off that team in Minnesota, but also the reduction of speed and engagements also kind of forced him off that team when COVID hit him on Warfare 2019. And it doesn't seem like he's gotten to the pro in this sort of second stint that he solved that. So I don't know. I think again, I don't see what waiting a week and a half does at this point. I think they just got to move on, figure it out, find someone out before Major 1. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, I mean, who would you pick? You probably try and grab somebody from Challengers, no, Ben? Just probably try and dip down there.
If they're trying to get an AR, yeah, you're talking like a Brack type situation. Like some ARs are playing really solid. Like Fell's been playing pretty good. I mean, he's got a lot of. Listen, I could see
Fellow could be a good fit.
A lot of connection with players on this team, and it seems like they're circling the wagon with some people. So like,
yeah,
I could see it.
And then,
we could say here, just name all the ARs and Challengers. People were naming European ones in the chat. I just don't think they can bring in a Euro AR this quickly due to visa issues. Not possible.
Yeah, they're probably going to stay away from that. But no, I was going to say on the other side, the Minnesota Rokkr. I mean, obviously they played Carolina today. I thought Linz had some moments today. Like, when you watch Linz, he's a very good player, bro. In terms of just like his mechanics, like mechanically he's gifted, bro. He's very talented. There's that little spree he had on Invasion. I don't know if you guys remember it, when he was just going on an absolute tear. But he impressed me. There was a lot of moments today where he was really impressing me. And then I thought Lamar played good today. The first couple maps, Lamar went crazy. I think he struggled in the map 3, but it didn't really matter too much because they got the W anyway. All around, it was a good team. It was a good team W.
Is that a burger rank?
Yeah, I think so.
He's ranked a burger?
Oh, no, what is that?
But here...
What Sam linked in
the link.
But Tom, let's lay it on Rokkr. I thought they did what they needed to do against a team with a substitute today. And finally got a win on the board, even though like all 2 of the 3 maps were close. But they got to continue to work and improve on things, because they still kind of, if they win against LAG and Seattle, or they win against LAG and certain tiebreakers go their way, they do still have a chance to get in it. This is finally getting one on the board. I think if they can improve their search, run out a few things in control, I actually think they could maybe ink in. Maybe. We'll see. Big Wake's got to play better, though. Once again, another series where I think he was like the worst player on his team, and he needs to step it up.
Big Wake has been a surprise to me, man. I feel like Big Wake has. I just feel like he's a lot better than what he's been showing. Like we know Big Wake. Like, we know he's a very talented player. I mean, I know you guys are gonna bring up the sound EQ and all the sound whoring stuff, but even back in like Cold War and stuff like that. I mean, Sam, you said that Cold War that there was sound EQ. I didn't know about it back then. But he was always just like a really good S&D player, just like a main slayer. Like, he was a slayer he was like a superstar slayer, right? Like, that was his role. And it just seems like he's having a hard time just getting the groove in his game, or just trying to find his spots and get kills. He's just not getting kills like he used to. I'm not really too sure what it is. I don't know if it's like a team atmosphere type of thing, or if it's just him.
The game, bro. I'm don't use the game. Wake was if I remember this correctly, I don't remember Wake and like even that Florida roster like getting better, like upset potential wise until later in the year. And that was back when the game actually changed from like M4 meta to like Krieg and sub meta, like more defined roles. I'm telling you, that guy stems from the fact that everybody can kill him because he's one of those players that is very like he's like one of those AR players that is mechanically talented. So when like he's like put in those positions where he can farm. But like right now, everyone's shooting back because they all have the same weapon. They can all kill him off the heady. They can all like fight back on him in positions. He stems from that play style where he's really good at farming players that have no chance, like subs.
Yeah.
Like, if he gets into a position and subs have no chance, he's going to kill them every single time. But when everyone has an AR, he's getting team shotted. He can't just like abuse positioning, etc. He's not going to play as good as he did in other games.
These teams are also mirrors of each other, by the way. They have like a rookie that's playing well for the situation they're in, an underperforming flex, arguably the worst player on their team. They have a veteran main, and then like their second sub who's just like kind of there.
Yeah.
Literally
built
just
the
mirror
same.
copies of each other.
Yeah. But yeah, Minnesota, they get the W here against Carolina today. It was a good win for them. Any thoughts on Minnesota? Like Pat, Chris, Ben, you guys got any thoughts on a Rokkr?
No, like
I still got like nothing crazy like good to say about them. I mean, like they did what they had to do. Like Ben said, they beat a team with a sub.
It's a series that they should have
finally
won.
showed some light. Yeah, I mean, we called out Linz being pretty damn good. Same with like Abuza, same with Gwyn. Like all these players are stuck on teams that at some points might be selling them in terms of like how good they could potentially be. But I mean, as for the Ravens, like like selling them in terms of like how like well they can perform. And like
I thought you meant like never mind.
But anyways, point is, yeah, mirrors of each other, and I don't got much to say about Rokkr.
Okay.
Bro,
they did what they had to do.
This is my problem, man. I'm tired of these good players getting on these shit teams and then us not seeing, what their potential could be. Like, this is my problem with the Gwyn guys not forming. Like, we had a chance to have like a goated rookie lineup, right? Instead, all these rookies are just on bad teams, even though they're good, and then it's just a waste. Like I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. Gwyn could be better than Simp, and if he's on the Ravens, it won't matter. Same for Linz. He's on the Rokkr, it won't matter. I feel like we're just especially now, like where the top four is so stacked. Like I feel like whatever org you are, you have to stack the talent, like, or you just stand no chance. Like I just feel like we're past the days of like needing these like mid-tier
archaic roster construction.
Yeah, just put all the good players on a team. Like if they're veterans or whatever they are, like
bro.
Let them figure it out, bro.
These players should be wanting to team up. Like that's what I can't fathom. Like why are the players not also wanting to team up? Like if I'm Gwyn, and if the opportunity exists, like I'm trying to go to Linz and go to Abuza, for example, or just any of these players, and like before the signing happens, be like, yo, we're a trio, we're whatever. Instead, they just get picked one by one, go to these shit teams with these bad franchises that put these horrible rosters together. And then it's just wasted. And not only is it wasted for themselves, I mean, it's wasted opportunity for viewers because now we have a pretty stale league. Like, I mean, we have the 4 teams and that's it. And the rest of these guys, we know they suck. And we're basically praying for roster changes. Tom, you said it before. You're hoping it blows up before the event, maybe after. Like
it should for some of these teams. Because
I totally agree.
Ben, you had said this, but I mean, it's just you don't want to dig yourself too much of a hole. Like if you can already see it going south now, why stay in it any longer? You're going to go to the major, you're going to get slammed even more. It's just you're just going to dig even further and further and further down. It's just some of these guys need to change. But Pat, I agree with you. And also, Pat, to go back to your point, has a team ever picked up just a group of rookies? Have they done that? Has that ever been done?
Not the good ones. They've like tried it with like random challenger squads, like the LAG
full pickup.
But like I'm talking about like having like all the best stars of each one. Like the ones who are gonna get picked.
That's ever been done before, which could work.
Really, and the players should be wanting to team up. Like if I'm in challengers, right, and I'm like, damn, like that's the other best guy in challengers, and that's like I'm wanting to play with those guys. Like I'm wanting to make a pack and go to the league together because we know we have the opportunity. Not like, damn, like I'm nice, but I'm gonna go team up with this shit team in the pro league.
They just get convinced, bro. They just see like the veterans coming to them, and they just get finessed.
Yeah, but to be fair, a lot of the time the veterans are the ones that get the power with the roster construction.
That's also a problem. Like these dog shit players have the most control in the org. I mean, it's not. Hey, it's not even just the players. Just dog shit coaches have power. Like, it's the same thing. It's a top it's a problem top to bottom, not just
And
one or
I
two
know
people.
when I was competing, like a lot of these organizations valued brands a lot. You know, like how big somebody's brand was and stuff like that. But some of these organizations just need to learn how to. It doesn't really matter who's on your team. They just need to learn how to make a brand regardless of who's on a team. I actually feel like it could be pretty brandable if you do get a bunch of all-stars from a challengers, right? Or get all the best amateurs and put them on a team. I feel like that's really easy to brand and stuff like that. But sometimes you know how these franchises get. Like they want to make money, right? So maybe some of that's weighing in as well. I mean, I really don't know.
But like, I mean, like, look at the environment we're in. What are they making money by having a big brand
literally
player right
nothing.
now?
I'm just
like,
telling you how they
that
think.
argument
That's how
maybe
they thought.
mattered before, but yeah, now I just feel like it's so irrelevant. Like,
Yeah.
dude, these players, think about it. Most of these teams are cycling players year after year. Like having a big name, let's use Glacier for example. Having a big name player on your org, like for the Carolina, what is that really gonna do for that org? Like,
Well, there are special cases that you're talking about Clay. Like Clay actually legitimately has a brand, but like,
but what is
bro,
he gonna
every
sell?
oth-
What's that selling for
okay, hold on,
Carolina though?
hold on.
Is my question.
Let me
It's
finish.
not anymore.
Every other franchise, you're saying like Tom said, like they might like the brand.
I
like,
wasn't
what
talking about
brands?
Clay in particular.
I
I'm
know-
just
I
I
saying
know-
use
in
Clay
general.
because he's the biggest
But what
one.
I'm saying
Yeah.
is, like, what brand? What brand do these players have? Most of them don't fucking stream. They don't upload YouTube videos. Some of them don't even fucking tweet. They like what brand? What are we talking about here? Some Twitter followers that like what the fuck are we talking about? So like that shit should be out the window. Anybody in the CDL that's looking at that is just lost. Like Pat said, get the best players and put them on the same team. Even
That's
if
how you
they're
build a
young,
brand, is fucking winning.
even if they're young,
Yeah.
like
Playing
let
well.
them figure it out. Okay, they might not necessarily have the intangibles, or maybe you just don't know they have it because they've never been put in a situation where they've had to like use them or develop them. Right? They've been stuck with playing with maybe people that have been mentoring them. But once they get out of that situation, they get onto a pro team and they actually are in that fight or flight mode. Well, maybe you'll see fucking greatness. Like at the end of the day, pick up the most talented players. Period.
Yeah, I agree. But let's move on. Unless anybody has anything else. Any final words, guys, before we move on to the next series? Any final thoughts? Okay, phenomenal. Let's move
empty.
on. We got the New York Subliners going up against the Los Angeles Thieves. This was a 3-1 victory in favor of New York. I thought it was going to be a 3-0, especially after the map 2. And then LA Thieves, they were able to snag a control in there before.
Yet another invasion.
Yeah, another invasion control from the LA Thieves. But LA Thieves, they find themselves 1-5 in the CDL, and they fall to New York. One thing I want to say about New York right off the bat, I mean, we could take a look at his stats, but Dante has been literally insane. Bro, Sib has been crazy for these. Bro, he has been going nuts for the New York Subliners. And I know a lot of people were critiquing the change, including myself. I critiqued the change a lot just because they won 3 events and won the World Championship. But there's not much you can say if Dante keeps going out here and just dropping bombs like this and they continue to find dubs and continue to do what they're doing. I mean, clearly the change didn't affect them in a negative way. Clearly they're still a very strong team, and Dante's been really good for these guys. So, so far, so good for the New York Subliners. I mean, Sim, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on the series?
I was surprised it wasn't a 3-0, as bad as it sounds. Like,
This is your squad, Sam. This is your squad, man. Why are they getting
bro.
shit on, man?
it's not going. I mean, bro, they can't get any kills.
They can't get kills.
There's no trays. There's no pieces. There's no kills. Like, they're just getting literally outclassed.
Well, look at
And
what you put in the chat, Sam. They're
Yeah,
all
the
three
bo-
of
yeah,
them
they
are
have, like, 3 of the bottom 10 or
That's
whatever.
bad.
That's what I'm saying, bro. There's just nothing. There's no kills at all. And they just, if they get off of invasion, it's doomed.
The thing that's crazy to me though, that blows my mind, is in a game where you get so many guarantees, like I'll call them guaranteed kills, because of like setups, hills, rotations, head glitches. Like, how the fuck do you not get kills?
Because
That
they
tells me-
scam. LAT
tells me-
scams so much, Chris.
Exactly. That tells me that their issue isn't that they necessarily can't shoot their gun. It's that they're just not like doing things as a team, not putting themselves in favorable positions, not rotating, et cetera, et cetera. It comes down to the same problem that Boston has. They just can't mesh. They have different ideologies on how they want to play the game, and their communication in terms of how they want to accomplish certain things is probably just not like cohesive at all. So
Yeah.
I don't know how they fix that.
Go ahead, Ben.
I mean, I agree with what was said in here. Like the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how your prep work is. Like if we're just losing solo gunfights on rotation, solo gunfights where the entry guy's getting killed and we're just gonna get closed on trades 4v3. Like it's just never going to work out and respawn. That's why they're probably the worst hardpoint team in the game right now. I just a tough problem to fix. Like, is it a confidence thing? Are we just not playing the right spots? Like, are we not playing off from information well? I'm just not really sure the particulars of why this team is just the worst lane team in the league.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they definitely really been struggling in the slaying department, man. I just feel like it's also just a culture, chemistry thing. Like, I don't know. I thought it was weird that Tony said what he said yesterday, and then Cap obviously had something to say about that. But it's just, why would Tony just randomly say that? You know, like, there was probably something going on within the camp. I don't know what. Probably, I really don't know. Like, at the end of the day, I have no fucking idea after what Cap said. But it definitely seems like there's just a problem within the camp, and I don't know what it is. I'm not really too sure why they're not meshing, because like some of these games, it's not even the fact that they're losing and they're not getting kills. It's even just the situations that they're putting themselves in and the way that they're playing certain scenarios. Like even in the search and destroy, like there was just some rounds. Like one round I remember in particular from the watch party is when the bomb was down, they had a defuse in a 2v1, and instead of one guy hopping and somebody looking over them, they both just chased down Caesar Skies, who's on a head glitch, just jumping up and down behind a dumpster. He just two pieces both of them. It's like, just like little decision making, like little stuff like that. Like, I don't know if this team has a leader. Like, I don't know if there's anybody trying to get these guys on the same page. I just don't know if I believe in the culture of the squad, the synergy, the energy.
And the issue, Tom, is your map pool is tiny. Sam alluded to it earlier. They're 5-4 in invasion. What the record is on every other map?
They're 1 in whatever the rest 11. Is. If you triple veto invasion, they're not going to win a map.
Bro, like
5 hardpoint losses in a row.
Oh man, it's
triple veto invasion. You have an unreal chance to 3-0.
I will say for Thieves this: the last match is at Carolina. I think there's a way that they can win that, and then you take that momentum and you take it one match at a time. In lose bracket at Major 1, if they could somehow salvage like a top 8 or a top 6 out of this event, I think like you take that. But the slaying issue, like the lack of depth in your map pool, like they got a lot of shit to figure out.
It is wild that they're dead last right now in the league. I didn't expect them to be dead last.
Yeah, it's crazy. Especially with like it seemed like early season scrims and like just behind the scenes, everyone was so high on them, and then the league started, and it's just been a downward spiral.
Bro,
since.
You watch hilarious. You're like, yeah, they're gonna play Carolina. Like poor Carolina, bro. It's like we have teams that are absolutely world's worst, it seems, but they're like, oh, they'll play Carolina, they'll be okay. Like what?
That's not even like a convincing series, bro. Like I'm not just picking LAT 3-0. You know what I mean? Like that could be a fucking grueler game 5 for all we know.
Yeah.
Like that is not good. Like.
Yeah, look at the Bulldog again, 0.89, but with almost 15,000 damage. Like, bro, I feel like the Bulldog stats never actually show what he's actually doing on the map. Like the little things that he's actually doing. He's an animal. But yeah, Thieves, they continue to struggle. New York look really good. Unless anybody, Chris, Pat, you guys have anything to say about Thieves, New York, any of these guys? I've been super impressed with New York.
Dante is himmy, bro.
It's himmy.
Like usually it's like you hear those like people like potentially being injured and you're scared for him, and well, if he came back and was like, no, I'm good, just fries everyone.
I think he's making a strong case for Major 1 MVP right now. Like,
yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
Yeah. I will say, Tom, not really about the Thieves or subliners, but kind of on the topic. This is the first year that I'm kind of like. I'm almost feeling bad about talking about how dog shit some of these teams are, because like
this is like mid-season combos now.
Dude, it's like I know all these players, and it's like I don't even blame them, but like the league is just so lopsided that it's like there's 4 and there's everybody else. I'm kind of feel bad. I'm just like, yo, there's shit day after day, and they're showing me nothing. Like I feel like we just need to redo roster mania. Like just let the top 4 stay, and then just completely like
we're doing a fancy draft like for everybody else.
No bullshit. Like let all the orgs have all free rules and just re-sign teams, because like right now we're kind of screwed if they don't make big changes. What about if we
do this, bro? Teams just gotta send us all each 100 gifted, and they can respin.
Oh my god!
They might have to respin.
I just hope there's like
I got PTSD for the respin cheese.
To make it serious though, like. I think, Sam, you probably brought this up a couple months ago. At the end of the day, the reason we got in this situation is, you know, Sam, your team
we eliminated the roster, and every good player went to the top 4.
Yep, and so that's how we ended up in this situation.
Way to go, Sam. Way to go, Sam.
I ruined the league. I know.
Way to go, brother. Wait, so Sam, if you would
have you did ruin the league.
It's literally Sam's fault.
Wait, Sam, if you never retired, was your team going to stay the same?
I don't know. I'm assuming we still got offers from everybody. But I
yeah,
mean,
but
that's
you guys were a really good team now, so it's like.
Oh, yeah, of course. But I'm not going to be. I don't know if my teammates would have taken it. I don't know if I
Sam,
would have taken it.
I'm
It's
surprised
just
you
pure
haven't gotten
hypothetical.
the itch to get back in there, bro. I'm surprised, bro.
I want to play in this league. You see that
Bro,
shit?
people were
Yeah,
people
but-
were basically saying that Sam should have been on Faze at one point and then he retired. Like, how absurd is that?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
retired
He ruined the
because he wanted to, not because he
I
had
ruined the
to.
league, bro. It's on me.
He did the
Sorry,
inverse
chat.
of KD to the Warriors. Like he just quit and made all the other super teams for him.
No, that's insane. Bro. That's insane.
Actually really funny.
It's the Kevin Durant opposite. That's funny. But yeah, any final thoughts before we move on to the next one?
Nah, I'll say New York once again. Another classic performance in Search. Like, this New
7-0.
York team can keep playing this way in Search. Like, I really feel great about the chances of major win.
Phenomenal. All right, let's keep it going. Let's move. This was the last series of the day. Even with a 3-0, 3-0, 3-1, it took us a lot of hours to get here, folks. There was a lot of delays today. We have the Boston Breach going up against the Miami Heretics. I think all of us had Miami yesterday in our pickings, except for Christopher Duarte, a.k.a. the analytical mind parasite. Chris, why did you go with Boston? We'll start with you. They come out on top today. These maps were very, very close. This was a gruel of a series. This was the best series we had all day. I loved it. This was a great series. Talk to me, Chris. What do you think happened today with Miami? What do you think Boston just clutched up today? And then also, I know individually some guys from Boston really showed out today.
Well, mainly for me, it just started with yesterday. Like, I would have kept the Miami train going, had Miami be in Seattle. But once they lost to Seattle and I kind of saw like their weaknesses and like how they've been playing, I just kind of like saw this matchup and I was like, Boston, I think needs a bounce back. And I saw Snoopy play particularly terrible yesterday. And I was like, there's no way he's going to do that again. He's usually a pretty explosive player. And just matchup for matchup, I was just like, I honestly think Boston takes it. And today, I mean, Snoopy turned it around. He went fucking insane, bro.
Snoopy
Like, that was
went
actually
crazy,
bro.
Crazy today. I mean, that was some of the best gameplay I've seen from him in a minute now. And I love Snoopy, so it's good to see him really
Question,
kick it
though.
up. Yep.
If he doesn't do that, do they win?
I really don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not, Slay. Maybe not. Because I'll tell you something. Miami's no joke, man. These guys can play, bro. Like, they're definitely a good team. Nah, they're a good team, bro.
They're
Like,
a good
Metal,
team.
like, they
Mel's
can
had a
shoot.
tough week. Mel's had a tough week, I think, individually, but shit happens. I think Miami is competitive against this tier team. I don't know about the tier above them, but I think if Snoop gives them like a 0.99, I think this thing probably goes to game 5, and who knows, you know?
Ben J. Nassim's baby mama said Miami sucks in the chat. That's interesting. Sam, what do you think, man? What's going on here with Miami? Off day or what, man? What do you think happened today?
I think Snoopy had a day. I think Miami's probably like I was trying to think of like a comparison to it. And if you guys remember the LAT start in Cold War, where they were just kind of like punching down at the time, and we were like kind of high on LAT. Well, I was playing at the time, but like people really thought that they were pretty good. They had a really hot start, and then they started to play like high tier mid pack teams to the top of the league, and then just like everything fell apart. And while I do think Miami is still a good team, I just wish that they had won one of the last 2 games so that we could maybe put them on a little bit of a higher end. But now they are starting to slide, and they are losing to teams that I definitely thought that they should be beating. I'm assuming you guys probably did as well, seeing as we picked most of them today.
Yeah.
So they're starting to slide a little bit, and I'm a little worried for the Miami camp.
They are what Heretics was a lot in Black Ops 4. Like, I think this team is in that mid pack. I don't think they're at the bottom. But right now, I don't think they're challenging anyone at the top. Go ahead, Chris.
One thing I want to say is this narrative needs to stop. Yesterday, we were talking about how Boston was getting horked on and they potentially would be looking at a roster change in the future. And I pointed out how Snoopy might be the odd man out just because the way he plays and his consistency factor might not be there in comparison to the other guys. Obviously, Priesta and Slasher were signed to this roster for a reason because they are veterans and they have brought championships and they could potentially bring that sort of aspect to the Boston camp. And then in Capsule, I think he's just been pretty consistent. I don't think he's been insane. But like to say that I was saying, oh, get rid of Snoopy for sure. No, I'm saying in a terms of a roster like scenario where they had to make a change, it'd probably be one of Snoopy or Cap. Like it's just being realistic and just looking at the team and who they would pick up. It is what it is. Yes, Snoopy played great. Yes, he can play good. But at the end of the day, it's just about being consistent. Like, yeah, that's what they're going to be looking for when they're looking at roster changes potentially in the future if this continues to spiral downwards.
Pat, what are your thoughts, man? Miami Heretics versus the Boston Breach. Miami, they fall to Boston.
What did Chris just say? I'm so confused. I was trying to follow that,
You
I was
can go
basically
first.
saying that the narrative that I'm saying, oh, drop Snoopy that's not true. That's not what I'm saying. What do you mean? What did I say? Are you
Who
making
said that? Who said drop Snoopy though?
Chad, you faded? Like,
because we were talking about roster changes
is this guy
yesterday,
yapping?
and when Snoopy fucking played terrible, I was like, oh, if we're looking at their team objectively, he's probably the odd man out at this point. So,
But isn't that saying that you think they should have dropped? Like,
no,
if they were
I'm
to
saying
implode,
if
they
they
would
were
drop
gonna
him.
make, I'm saying that's probably the decision they would make, not necessarily that I would make. I don't know.
Nah,
What the
no
fuck I would
shot
do.
to
Sounds-
drop
sounds like
Snoopy.
a- sounds like a lot of spending to me,
Nah, no
listen
shot,
to
no
the
Hold
shot.
VOD.
They're not dropping Snoopy. They're not
Tom.
dropping
I
Snoopy.
sent
listen to
you.
the
I
VOD,
sent
bro.
you a YouTube clip. It's
Yeah.
20. It's 20 seconds. I need you to watch this
All right.
on stream right now. It's because it's my only reaction.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm going.
it's
I'm
gonna be
going.
so- what is it, bro?
Here we go.
Tom will pull it up.
Let's go over to the reaction. Let's see what's going on here.
What you just said is one of the
That's
most
fucking-
insanely idiotic
Oh
things
my
I have ever
God.
heard. At no point
remember this clip. This
in
clip
your
is fucking
rambling,
hilarious.
incoherent
Tom,
response
you got no audio on the
were you
stream.
even close to anything that could be considered
Oh,
a
never mind.
rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right. That's the clip for the slay.
Nice. W, man. W.
And go back to your point, Chris. There is no way that they drop Snoop. There's no shot. Like,
All right, just
no, there's
is
actually
what
no
it is.
like
That's what I thought.
based
That's the
off
way I
just
looked
like
at it.
ceiling alone. Like Snoopy's ceiling is like he clearly watching
Yeah.
a guy play. Like he's a playmaker, bro. He's an impact on a map. Like I don't know if they're just. I
If
would
they're
give
gonna
Snoopy more time.
If they're gonna drop one of the two between Snoop and Cap, then they would drop Cap. I just think they're gonna.
I think
give
they would
Snoopy
also drop Preston before they dropped
either Snoop or Cap.
Snoop. Yeah. No, I think Cap for sure first, but I think Preston would go before Snoop would go. I think Snoop is like 2 people behind getting dropped.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's shades of a very good player there, but he's still got a lot of development as far as.
He just needs to learn
decision-making
some gears and not be one gear. He needs to learn a few.
I also think his communication is not very good. I mean, we were talking about during the watch party, like their listenings are probably some of the worst in the league, and I think some of that is because I think Snap and Snoop and Cap's comms are not very good, and I think it's maybe part of the reason why there's so inconsistent respawn because sometimes they're just not calling out, not small talking, not really directing each other.
Okay, I got a clip here. Boston Breach versus the Miami Heretics. I felt like this could have been a 3-0 here. I felt like Boston could have made a play here to make this comeback. And I want to take a look at this rotation because this is something that we wrote down. We want to take a look at it. Cap still goes a little rogue. Some overchilds come from Boston Breach. And I kind of want to rerun it back and see if you guys would have done anything differently or have any thoughts on the play. Gonna let it play out here. First thing that happens is Capsule. I feel like at times he needs to learn when to just take a deep breath and chill out. This motherfucker is all over the place. He jumps the wall. He ends up dying. And now you can see P2 control goes to Miami Heretics. They're going to slow play while their teammates get back into the play. And then it's going to be Metals who gets a kill in that pinch. And now this is where they kind of just swarm onto this hard point and just let it sing. So the Turtles come in on the hard point. They died P2, and me personally, I just thought that was way too easy for Miami
But
Heretics.
Tom,
like the
back
comeback is in.
up.
The comeback is in here for Boston.
Cap was
Back up,
first
like, it
the
just-
first 2 entries. That's
It
crazy.
just does it. It just like I again. I don't know if it's a communication thing or just
Cap
Cap
was the
tweaking, but,
first
like,
2 deaths
but
on the
like
play.
Two
he
of 'em.
doesn't, bro. Like he can just play a corner. Like they have the slide through from like Church Alley. Like that is all covered by the guy bottom red. What is he tweaking trying to watch 2 lanes? And again, I don't know if that's just him, or they just don't have comms on what's open and what's not being picked up.
Nah,
Yeah.
that's completely unacceptable. Like that.
Yeah.
He should. He knows there's people there, bro. Like, or he maybe.
No,
just
he
left
definitely
time.
knows they're spawning there. You can tell by the way he's playing. He's looking for him. He's just trying to get him on the
They have
cuts here.
everything else covered. That's his only pickup. He just has to sit in the corner.
I just think he needs to just chill
Just look
out a
at-
bit.
just
And
look
then,
at
and then,
wall
and then
outside
even
Burger, like,
even
you're
after
gifted.
this, like I don't even like P Dog standing here with a rival. Like I think P Dog should just try and get active here. Like go, like try and get close up on him. Like try and make a play. Like try and make a play for P2 because your teammate just died. Like I don't know. I would have liked to see P Dog get a more aggressive there too because they just give up all of P2. They kind of turtle in the hard point. Like if Capsule's gonna be playing aggressive like this. Like, if I'm P-Dog and I see Capsule, like, running around here, like, I'm going to try and help them out. They got to work together. Like, there's no synergy. Like, they're not working with each other. You know what I mean? It's just that, and I don't mind the play, honestly, from Snoopy holding red. I don't mind him being up there holding red. But now they're just kind of turtled and they're getting pinched. This is also a really big kill for Metals on a pinch onto Capsule. Because as soon as Capsule goes down there, they're just able to use their numbers and swarm onto the hill. So, Capsule dies twice, man. He dies twice in that
The first
rotation.
2 entries of the push.
Just
I
thought
mean,
it was a
bro,
big
I mean,
misplay
watching
from
his back,
the
Preston
Boston
and
Breach.
Snoop, bro. Snoop had his top red. Like if they hold their setup, Snoop like kind of shimmies top red. He can get info, but they both get caught running backwards, and they like give even more space up than the space they had before. Like, again, I don't know if this is an instinctual thing with them or we hear their comms. Their comms are not very good as far as small talking, like trying to communicate with each other. Like it could also be that, and that's why they're so behind these situations.
Yeah, and then another play that I want to take a look at from the series is the round 11 in the map number 2. I thought Vickle rushed this a little bit. First and foremost, I thought Miami should have won this map. I feel like they kind of tossed it away. And one of them was the round 11. I mean, the round 11, you can see what they're trying to set up. They have one guy playing with the bomb. I mean, honestly, sorry, the opposite. I don't know what the hell they're trying to set up. I'm very confused as to what the play call was here. Vickle tries running up mid-map by himself in a round 11 with 40 seconds left. Capsule is able to take him down. Then the bomb gets caught out by himself by A side. He ends up getting challenged. He goes down. Now the bomb's down. I just felt like Miami here completely blacked out. They blacked out on the play. They blacked out.
This is just like round 11, like playing slow as you always do because everyone's nervous as fuck. Round 11, and it's combine that with
Vickle
terminal.
But Tom, what have we always talked about with round 11 on offenses, bro? The worst thing you can do is just lick a wall. Like the
Just
worst
do
thing you do is
nothing.
do nothing strat.
Yeah,
And
like
on
nothing
terminal of all maps, the do nothing strat is the auto loss.
Yeah, it was just weird seeing one guy B side, one guy A side, and then one guy just running up middle. It was just weird to see how this all played out. I didn't know what their plan was. Like I didn't know what they wanted to do. Even when looking at the minimap and seeing where they all are, I couldn't figure out what they were
pre-round
coordinating.
strat call must have got so confused because Vickle
Yeah.
just assumed they were hitting out A and the bomb or B or I don't know.
But even at this point, right? Like these, like Lucky and Metal should be telling Journey, Journey shouldn't even be getting picked A side. Like he shouldn't even be he shouldn't even be in a line of sight there to get taken down. He should just be in a corner or something. If he's gonna play on an island, he should just be waiting to make a play. But even here, like if Lucky and Metals could just let him know, like, yo, there's nobody top. You see, we're making plays towards B. You know, Journey can then wrap the bomb back, and they can try and get a bomb down B side. Because it does get a little scary. I mean, as we let it play out, it's a 2v4.
Like he's pushing. He's running into the plane.
Yeah, he's pushing terminal. And then Metals and Lucky get 2, and then that doesn't last very long. Because then
Can you imagine they had a plant right here?
and then Lucky ends up dying here. It goes on for 20 seconds. He sits in book, but ends up getting taken down. I don't want to go too far because obviously don't want any strikes, ladies and gentlemen.
Be careful.
But yeah, it was just a really big misplay. I thought they were just again. I thought they blacked out in around 11 after watching it. I don't know what their play call was, but what do you guys think? What did you guys think about the play?
Dog shit. It was a terrible fucking play.
Damn, absolutely fucking
I don't know
terrible.
what the fuck.
Great
I
summary.
I thought I was yapping. I was like, yeah, you guys
No,
can.
you're absolutely right. That was a dog shit
You know the
play.
play. You know the play's terrible when you look at the arrows before any play's made, and you just can't figure out what the fuck they're about to do.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea.
Bank no initiative and just bank on the other team to be worse than you and like give you a freebie is just not going to win you around, especially around 11.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, guys, on the Miami versus Boston Breach? Ben, Chris, Pat,
Head empty.
Sam.
I think a couple of players.
Make
on the
sure you guys
Miami
join the
team,
Discord and join the flank stage.
I think
I'll join in a second. I think a couple players on Miami this week between the Seattle series and this one, I think had some bad sort of individual performances. So they've got Optic and LIG coming up. I think they can go 1-1 and they'll be like 4-2 or 4-3 or 5-2. So I think Miami's okay to get like a mid-pack seed. And again, I think for Miami, like a top 4 is fairly realistic if they get the right draw. Top 6 possible as well, but just got to improve that. And I think for me on the Boston front, it's nice to finally get a big S&D win on the board because they choked a couple searches, but I also think their map pool is like very tiny. I'm noticing that people are kind of, seeing their prowess on terminal and invasion. If you get these guys on like any other map, it's looking a little bit slow. So I want to see them play a little bit better, especially on Karachi Hardpoint. I think it's been a real problem for them this season.
For sure. Any other
analysis.
topics? Anything else, guys? Anything else before we hop into community questions? We'll be joining the Discord. Any of you guys can join by just putting command Discord in the Twitch chat. Join up. If Chandler approves your question, we'll be on the stage, ready to go, man. Let's switch over. I'll see you guys over there in Discord. Rest of the
You
cast.
leaving TeamSpeak for the rest of the show?
We'll be in Discord. Yep, you can leave TeamSpeak.
Okay.
Yep, you're out of here.
Disconnected from your channel. Disconnected from your channel.
Yo.
Yo.
What's up, guys? What's up, man? What's up?
Long time no talk.
Long time no see, guys. Long time no see. We just got to get Sam in here. Phenomenal. Look at all those guys raising their hands. Look at all of them. They're all trying to ask some questions. They're all trying to get active. Why don't you, Benjay, executive producer, why don't you pick one out, man? Somebody's got their hand up. Pick somebody who's got their hand up.
Why don't we do AMP Rob, Bengals fan AMP Rob over there?
AMP Rob?
Yeah.
Where? Oh, here he is. AMP Rob. Here you are. Let me see here. What do I do? Right click and invite to speak, right? How you doing? Get over here, AMP Rob. Get over here, man. Let's see if he, there we go. What's up? What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear
Yeah,
you,
we
Rob.
hear.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, gentlemen? Tom, I just want to tell you, I'm zooming smelly chat in the chat, man.
Hey, what's going on? Wait, you said Zuma smelly
Going on.
chair?
Yeah.
That's you, man? Jesus Christ. What's going on, bro? How you doing, man? Talk to me, man. You got a question for us? Welcome to the flank, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for having me. I got a question for everybody. So now that Miami has lost their second game in a row with Boston 3-1 them, are we looking at this team differently from week one? And what changes do they have to make to get back to their winning ways?
Go ahead, Ben.
Who wants that one?
I think for Miami, again, I'll repeat what I said about 30 seconds ago. I think individually, players like Metals, who were playing really good before the break, came in this week and had sort of a less positive performance individually. I will say for Miami, the control looks really, really strong, but you get them off of Invasion where they're 3-0, and there's probably questions there. I just think it comes down to the fact of, like, we just didn't know a lot about this team because of the teams they played, to be honest. They played Minnesota, Vegas, and Carolina, and no disrespect to those teams. Those are 12, 11, and 10 right now in the standings, so.
Yeah, I'm
It's
also
coming down to we're seeing them play more people.
I'll be honest, Rob. I feel like Major One's gonna be a big tell as well. You know, once we get to see some of these guys on land and see how they play there, like I definitely don't think Miami is in blow it up territory like some of these other teams.
Yeah,
you know,
for
like
sure
I think I definitely think they've shown like a lot of positive moments, and I think they're a good team. I think today just some mistakes. I mean, we just pulled one up, right? Just blacked out a couple times, a few mistakes here and there. Like they're just gonna have to clean up a few things. Boston, I mean, they're a good team. They've just been really up and down recently, like pretty inconsistent. Snoopy had a really good day today. So I think Miami, we still got to give them some time, personally. I think we should. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Chris.
I also
Boston
think-
almost trolled that round 11 too. Almost trolled the hell out of that shit.
Yeah. But go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I also think their map was just too small. Like, I feel like they kind of had the same thing going for them that first week where they were getting a lot of the same maps, and even one of the maps that they were getting a decent amount of times prior, they managed to lose in this series. So, yeah, map pool too small, and the maps that they were kind of strong at, they got them in their last series against Boston, and they didn't win them. So, yeah, they got to improve in that.
For me, as I mentioned, I think it was yesterday. Like I did a deep dive in this Miami squad. I mean, it's pretty clear cut to me. I don't think they're in like blow it up territory. I just think this is where this team's at. They're middle of the pack. They beat those three teams. They had honestly the perfect initial schedule to look good. Look like they got to a hot start because they literally punched down big time and just bullying those bottom three teams. And I think now they're just in this middle of the pack fights that they're going to struggle against these teams of equal skill level, and they're going to lose to the good teams. I don't think there's a change that makes them better. So I think they're just kind of going to have to improve as a squad. But
Sam, anything you want to add, Sam?
Not really. I just don't think they really had a true test prior to the break. I mean, that's just something we've said already, and I don't really want to beat a dead horse here, but they just didn't really have a true test to see where they stacked up, and they just beat the shit out of teams that they're better than blatantly. So I think going forward is just getting better every day, bro. Like we're not gonna sit here and say they need a roster change or anything, but they just need to improve. They're in a good spot. I'm not down on them quite yet.
All right, Rob, does that
Yes,
answer
Sam.
your question,
Sam,
man?
Sam, I have one more small question. Dallas? Really?
Oh,
Cowboys?
man, my bad,
Oh,
Sam.
shit.
Really?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Tough,
Jesus.
tough one at the office.
Hey, be like that. Say, hey, Rob.
Okay,
Hey,
here we go.
Rob, it's been an absolute pleasure, Rob. Thank you so much for joining in.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all guys.
That's it.
Y'all
All right, Zuma
legends,
smelly
bro.
chair. Go fuck yourself.
You
Go fuck
check- you
yourself.
check Sam so
How
bad,
you
bro.
doing?
Later,
I'm
Rob.
so
Take
bad.
it easy, man. Later, man. All right, man. Let's get another guy in here. Let's see what's going on, man. Who should we go with now, man? Eeny, meeny, miny. Let's go with Gucci. Let's see what Gucci's doing. Let's invite him to speak. Let's see if Gucci's there. Is that Tiger Woods in his avatar? It's looking like it. Hello, Gucci.
Yo,
What's up, Gucci? What up, man?
You hear me all right?
I hear you, bro. I hear you all right. What's going on? You got a question for us?
I do. So this is kind of pertaining to like the rookies and like how they come into the league. Um, do you think the league before like the CDL prepared the players better to succeed once they got to the pro level versus now how it goes challenger straight to the league?
I will say
Ooh.
yes, just because back in the day we had open tournaments, and a lot of the teams that were good challenger or teams at the time for coming from the open bracket would get to experience pool play and playing against the pro team. Sure, it wasn't consistent practice, but those events, and we had a lot of them before, would lead to you playing against that pro competition, getting some VOD review against your team, etc. Even if you were, and some of the teams even made upsets and like continued in the bracket to play better competition. So yeah, I think there was definitely more tools for amateur players or open bracket players to get better and prepare themselves for a smoother transition into the league if they or into the top echelon of players if they got picked up.
Yeah.
Oh, also
IWM.
2Ks and 5Ks, 2Ks and 5Ks too. I forgot
2Ks,
about those.
5Ks. I mean, pro points back in the day too. I mean,
there's a couple things. There's infinitely more visibility on challengers. And I guess for me personally, I've found it hard to care is a rough word here, but I've found it hard to care about challengers because of the fact that they're in a closed system. Like I think in the open format, when like you could see a team start off in challengers, get to a tournament, make it to pool play against pros. Like there's opportunity for them to have that engagement versus a pro team and see how they stack up against them. And you just don't anymore. So if the whole league is surrounded on the upper echelon of the talent being closed in a 12-team system, it's hard to care about the bottom because you don't really know when they're it's hard to get invested in those challenger players because the only time they're going to get picked up is when the worst team in the CDL has to make a roster change. Like think about it. Like that's the majority, or the offseason, of course. But like most of the time it's been the worst team in the CDL is getting shit on. They have to make a roster change, and then they just pick from challengers. But it's like there's no growth for the challenger players to like have a season and play against a pro team. And the best part is seeing like the pro teams get exposed. Like, dude, imagine we had Faze Black, like just using him as an example, going to a tournament, playing like some of these bottom 4 pro teams and just shitting on them.
That'd be so
That's
sick.
what we have with
Bro,
LG.
I mean,
with LG Academy life.
It would
LG
make
Academy-
it would make investing into challengers and like an amateur team way more worth it as well.
I mean, think about it. Like that's I think that's a part of the reason that so many of these orgs pulled support from challengers, just because like it just limited the opportunity for that growth to happen.
LAG Academy got Neslo'd by Faze at the beginning of the year. But also, I think I can't find Chandler's comment anymore. I found it. He actually pointed this out, which I think is true because a lot of the amount of pros that I've talked to that don't value like winning challengers events. But like I guarantee if those challenger players, those challenger teams went to a LAN and beat the pro teams, they would value a singular best of 5 against a pro team over winning an entire challenger event. Like
Agreed.
Because it's just a closed system, like Pat said, which is crazy. I mean, I don't think it should be that way, but at the end of the day, I mean, I get it.
That's
so
true.
I mean,
That's true.
Well, I
No, I agree with
kind
that
of miss
100%.
it, man. I miss that opportunity, seeing the amateur players play against pros.
The best was just having open brackets, and then if you make a run through open, you get thrown into a pool with like pro teams, and it's like what Adam Apicella said on the show the other day. Like, yeah, you might, that was like a freebie for most of us back in the day. It was like the open bracket team, but at the same time, like, you still got to see that combination of amateurs getting that shot, that opportunity, which they earned to be there to play against the pros. So, man, I miss those days, man. The hotel ballrooms and stuff like that. Great question, by the way, Gucci. Phenomenal question.
W.
That was a really good question.
Thanks guys for answering it. I was just really asking because I become a fan of these players before they get into the league. I root for them, and then it just sucks seeing them go to where they want to be and just not be able to perform. And it's not necessarily their fault. So I just kind of wanted some input on that.
There's a lot of
bad
aspects. There's a
situations.
lot of aspects to it, man. Because at the end of the day, when they're at the top of the challenger game, they're playing with the best challenger players, and then they go into play like they play in an ideal scenario in a closed bubble. Yeah,
It's the same.
exactly.
They just come in, get finessed by veterans to be on shit rosters, and then they get
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yep, Gucci,
No
thank you so
problem.
much for your question, man. You have a good night.
You two guys take it easy.
All right, man. Later. Great question. That was a really good question. Let's get in somebody else. We got Bolt over here. Let's go with Bolt. His name's been catching my eye. It's simple, to the point. Bolt, what's going on, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you guys been?
Phenomenal.
Great.
We're doing fantastic. Thank you for joining up on the flank. What's your question?
So my question is, I had 2 questions, but I'll just ask the first one.
Sure.
So let's say with certain teams being put in the blow it up block or something. So do you guys think Seattle should be one of them? Considering their recent performances. So
Not yet.
Not yet. I mean,
yet.
we probably might have different opinions here. I'd probably say not yet, just because I think we need to see more. And they've also had some positive moments. There was even a period of time where a lot of pro teams behind the scenes were gassing them up in scrims and stuff like that. So I think they need more time, but can't really speak for everybody else. Like especially like Pat and Ben and you guys. I really don't know.
Well, I might have a different opinion. I think if you're Seattle and there's an AR player that you really like, because we talked about in the beginning of the season, I just don't see how Inder and Alec both exist on this roster by the end of the season if they're not beating top teams. I still feel that way, but if there's an AR player that they really like, I won't be surprised if after Major 1, if they have like a top 6, top 8 performance, and they're like, maybe we want to stick, maybe we don't. If there's an AR player they really want, they might go after said person.
I think if somebody on their team is just an outlier and performs like really terrible, and they still manage to achieve a result that's similar to their current standing in the league, then yeah, they would get rid of it. But if they go to the event and they place relatively the same as their current standing, right, like that, top 6, top 8 ratio, I don't know if they make a change unless anyone performs like outside like terrible. I think they need to finally to first like establish some sort of consistency, right? If they go to this event and they place like middle of the pack, they go to the next they go to the next event, they place middle of the pack or worse, then okay, then maybe start to think about it. But like the first event, if you're that mid-pack team, I don't know if you really like try to push for a roster change yet, because you still have a lot of room to improve, in my opinion.
Any other thoughts, Pat, Sam, Ben?
I mean, I said my thoughts already, so.
Yeah,
True.
My big thing is I just don't know if there's anyone else they could get realistically. So that's why I think they're like, even if they wanted to, like, this team, what can they blow it up for? Like, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of talent that they could probably grab player for player to improve.
Yeah. And just to add one thing on to what I said, I guess you could theoretically not pick up an AR. You could pick up a sub player who's playing like a third AR now and kind of move it because they do a little bit more of a full-time AR role. But I mean, there's a lot of 4 ARs on the map in some situations anyway. But I kind of was stuck with my original point at that point.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Bolt, does that answer your question, man?
Yeah, that answers my question. Do I ask the second one or do I just?
Sure, you can ask it. It's okay.
Okay, so
I'll go ahead, Gojo.
Is there any possibility for there to be like an interchange of players between teams rather than just picking up from challenger players? I had an example, for example,
Pat,
like,
this is kind of what you were just talking about, like trading and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Pat, not to speak for Pat, but Pat was talking about how he would love to see a trade earlier before in the watch party, and I couldn't agree more with him. I just feel like it's just never gonna happen. I don't know
I mean,
It's
why.
not possible because like
yeah,
they're getting up at.
the people that are gonna be wanted are the best players on the shit teams, and the shit teams aren't gonna want to give up their best player for someone else's bad player.
Like it's never going to benefit both
That's
parties.
why it matters to do it like in the beginning. Like that's why I was saying the roster mania. Like these good players have to team up. Like they
Unless
have
there's
to.
unless there's money compensation,
Which yeah,
probably
that's
not.
an
Wait,
outside factor, not for
and
them.
and the thing
You
is
draft
though,
picks,
and
bro.
the
You
thing
can't
is
just
though,
trade 1 for 1.
they putting up no damn money, bro.
You
Like
need draft
so
picks, dude.
chalked.
Yeah, there's
That's
never
another
going to be
issue
like a
with the
player
closed
trade.
system. Yeah,
One
like
for
not
one.
having something outside of money to trade.
Yeah.
Like it's a problem.
Because you're like the person that you're going to want to trade for is like the team getting rid of their player is going to be their quote unquote weak player, and you're never just going to like, oh, we'll take your worst player for our best player. That's a fucking great idea.
Yo, imagine you could trade like veto advantage and like server selection. Like you could get advantage.
Just something outside of
You just
the
host
actual
fuck.
player.
You just host fuck the other
Yeah,
teams.
no
There's
bullshit,
just no-
bro.
there's
Yeah,
just no
we'll
other-
trade you a Vegas stage 2 for a boost.
There's no like there's no
insane.
additional assets to your point. Like we used to have a salary cap like year 1, I guess year 2 of the league. Like I guess you could have created a system where there's like money that exists in the system that allows you to go over the cap and you can trade that as an asset in the trade.
Wait,
But
somebody in the
just
chat
nothing.
said seeds, bro. Imagine you could trade seeds like for a tournament.
Seeds?
Yeah, like
That'd be
imagine
insane. Why would anybody want to trade
Rokkr
their
got,
seed
like, a
though?
6 to get a
Yeah,
better
that's-
player.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but how does that mechanically work? Like, if are you seed swapping? Like, if one's 12 and one's 1, like,
Yeah,
all right,
you
you're
seed
starting
swap,
losing bracket.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like this is the second round picks in
Bro,
the
some
fucking
of these
NBA.
teams,
Like,
bro, yeah, I would swap a winner bracket for a loser bracket start if it meant getting like a better player for sure.
Yeah, for one
That's-
event, yeah, could be.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Well-
Once it's CDL points, nah, hell no. Like,
Hey, Bolt, I appreciate you joining up and asking us some questions, man. Thank you for
Thank
joining.
you guys for
Love you,
answering the
questionable.
questions.
Yes, sir,
Yeah,
man.
no problem, go.
Appreciate you,
Later.
man. You have a
You
great
guys have a
night,
good
man.
night.
Yeah, you too,
Yeah.
man. Take care. Take it easy. Take it easy. All right, yo, Sam, pick somebody, man.
Give me Purgy.
Purge? Where's he
Purge.
at? Oh, Purge.
Our left.
Our left.
That's two
yeah.
times. That's 2 times in a row. Purgy gets in, bro.
Purge.
Oh, has he been in here before?
Yeah, he's so faded to watch.
Purge, what up, man?
Yo,
What's
Oh,
good,
this guy's off the
Purge?
shit.
What's
Let's go.
good,
What's up,
man?
Purgy?
what it do? What it
What's
do?
up,
What
bro?
it do?
Hey, you got a question for us or what, man?
Yeah, I do. I was wondering if there's a reason that capture the flag isn't a mode, because I heard Sam talking about it earlier in the watch party with
Yeah.
somebody else and saying that how control is usually always one-sided, or usually a team's always getting spawn trapped, or it's always like like a snooze fest. So like, is there a reason as to why we haven't had like capture the flag come back at all?
It don't exist, right?
I don't think we have captured a flag, Purge.
not even in the game, is
It's
it?
something.
No, I know,
well,
but
no,
I'm saying-
but it gets added into like the game, like after like a couple seasons, and no one plays it.
But not every game. Like,
Not
some
every
games
game.
Don't ever have it.
The shit just don't exist.
Just like with
don't exist.
control,
The problem is
go ahead.
about CTF is it's a very bad casual mode because it has to have a respawn delay to work. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And the very casual Call of Duty players don't like respawn times. They don't
Yeah.
play those modes because of respawn times.
Yeah, bro.
You're looking mad studious right now.
I mean, thank you very much. I think if CTF wasn't a game, Purgy, I think it would be played or at least tried. I won't say played like
Yeah,
actually in the
that's what I'm
CDL, but
saying,
at
though,
least
like-
try. They would at least try it and see how it plays out. But I mean, CTF would have. Listen, CTF would 100% be better than Control right now. There's no
That's
doubt
what
in
I
my
was
mind.
saying. Yeah,
There's no
yeah,
doubt in my mind it would play
exactly,
better. Just because for the Control right now, I just find myself just getting so bored halfway through, especially on Invasion, which for some reason just seems to be like the go-to map for a lot of these teams. It's just so defensive sided. So it's just, I don't know. Hopefully we can get some new game modes or something, or some new maps, just to switch up the flow a little bit. You know what I mean? But Purgy, thank you for your question. You got any other questions for us or what?
Yeah, I had one more question. So
Okay.
I had also asked, are we expecting like any new maps coming into the map pool?
Yeah, I know Rio is a map that's on the radar right now. I know some people have
Yeah,
been talking
that-
about that.
Yep.
I've
in the
been,
game on Wednesday, right?
yep,
17th?
and
Yep,
I've been
same
talking,
day
I heard a lot
Rio.
of pros.
been
I
talking
heard a
about
lot of
Greece a
pros
little
are
bit.
like choosing. I heard a lot of pros aren't choosing to like, or already saying that they don't even want to try Greece, or Greece wouldn't be like a good map for it, or like et cetera, et cetera. I know Chris has heard this too.
I mean, I
So I
don't
was
know
just
why
like-
I don't know why people think that Greece won't be a good map. I'll be honest with you. I don't know why. Some people say water. Well, we played with a map that had
It's not
water.
the water, bro. It's just,
Well-
it's too many. It's the too many interchangeable tight
not.
lanes.
But there's not a lot of lanes, Chris. It's only.
No. It's like all the little like small like alleys and like narrow hall. Like, you know what I'm talking about, the narrow like cuts and shit. I think that's what people. I think that's what throws people off. But after like playing it a lot in pubs, it's really not that bad. You kind of get used to it. The
I don't think
spawns
it's that bad at all.
are decent in a 4v4 scenario. In a 6 in pubs, they're fucking ass. But like, I can just tell in 4s, it's probably not that bad.
I mean, we played it a lot. Like we played Greece, and I do like a subscriber AIDS challenge type of vibe, and we've been playing it. And I mean, I really look at the mini map when I'm doing that shit to just really see what's
Yeah.
going on. And for the most part, like most hills, there's a back spawn and a front spawner. And if you're pinching out those spawns, they spawn out. You know, like for the most part, you know where everybody's coming from, where everybody's spawning, what's going on. And on top of it, I feel like the map is also not as big as some of these other maps. It could change up the pace a little bit. You know how everybody's talking about how it's so AR heavy? Well, now, finally, we have a map that doesn't seem like it's such an AR heavy map. It'll probably be 2-2. Chris, I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I see it
I
being like
definitely agree
2-2,
with
maybe 2-2, maybe 3-1 at most, which I still think would be fun to
Yeah.
watch, right? Like a lot of people, like think about Vanguard, Boat Cage, right? Like who didn't like playing and watching Boat Cage? I can't
Everybody
speak for the
did.
pros when it comes to playing because they probably hated that. I really
That
don't
map
know.
was fucking horrific.
But like Boat Cage was fun to watch. You know what I mean? Like everybody loved going to the cage, man. Everybody loved. going
It's
to the
it's
Boat
not as
Cage.
bad as Boat Cage, but the one thing I will say, regardless if Greece gets added, I'm pretty optimistic about them making new maps because I feel like at least minimap wise, and then obviously seeing Greece and even that meat map. The meat map is meant to be chaotic. I feel like they actually made some good maps. Like they look like they're good original maps that just play well for what they are. You know what I mean? So hopefully they continue that trend. And I really hope Rio is as good as the minimap looks because I feel like it's a little bit more condensed version of like Arsenal in terms of the way it looks on the minimap. And at least Arsenal, like the way that map was laid out, it was pretty good. So hopefully the spawns and all that stuff, hill placement, all that stuff is good, and maybe we can get some. I'm definitely gonna like once the update comes out, I'm gonna spawn in on the map and like just look around because I'm actually very curious as to what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I had for you guys. Thank you guys for having me. You guys have a good show.
Hell
And,
yeah, Pergy.
Thank you, man. Thank you, bro.
Pergy, appreciate you joining up, man. You have a good night, all right?
Yes, sir, bro. Thank you guys.
Take it easy, man. Take it easy. All right, man. Let's pick another one. Pat, who do you want, bro? Pick somebody, man.
Let's see, Tom.
Yeah, pick somebody that's raising their hand. Actually, I think everybody's raising their hand. Everybody's got their hands up, man.
I'm gonna go with Cheese.
Cheese?
Shout out Cheese, bro.
Let's get Cheese in here, man. Let's see what's going on here with Cheese. Hey, what's going on, Cheese?
Cheese.
Hey, Cheese?
Hello, no, my bad.
Hi, Cheese.
It's all right,
all
Cheese.
good, all
It's
good.
okay, Cheese. What's going on, man? You doing all right?
Baldy, I'm on my phone right now. But
Nah, don't worry about it, man.
I just had one question and one question only.
Of course.
What if that Atlanta Faze did not win a single event this year? Would it be time to break up the trio that is Celium, Simp, and Abeezy?
I mean, if they don't win an event this year, yeah,
that means they got second at every single.
If they don't win a single fucking event this year, I think I might eat my foot.
Yeah.
Hey, like I don't see a
funny?
world where they don't win an event with Zach on their
No
team.
bullshit. They could
Knock
not
on
win a
some wood,
single
though.
event this year, and they'll probably still have the most prize money earned. No bullshit.
Yeah, they did that in Vanguard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they do it again. So I don't, from a financial standpoint, I don't think they break up.
Yeah,
Dude.
that's a good question though, because it's like, what if? You know, it's a what if. You know, obviously, you know, locking on some wood. Being a FaZe fan, I want to see the guys do good and do well. But you know, I think a lot of it's just a what if, and I think it depends how they lose. Right, it depends how the year goes. Like if they're getting second, thirds a lot, and like Pat said, the prize earning is good at this and that, and you know it's good. If they're getting slammed and they're getting like top 6, like top 4, getting placings that they don't normally get, and they're not getting the placings they want, then I definitely think there's going to be some movement, without a doubt. I definitely could see some changing going on or something going on, especially because when you're losing like that, it does take a toll. You know, like amongst you and your teammates. You know, they can start arguing. It could be anything going on. But with the team environment, the team culture, and how they've been playing, I mean, I just think they're going to continue to just keep doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? They're obviously a very great team, and they also got a lot of great chemistry. So I just don't think those guys are going anywhere. I think they're here to stay for a long time. Sound good, Cheese? Sound good, Cheese?
Yeah. Actually, I do have one more question.
Of course, Cheese. Of
What the
course.
chat wants to know and everything. Pat, where's X Defiant?
Ooh.
It's on the way.
It's on
It's
the way
coming,
when?
Cheese. Cheese, it's coming.
Okay.
Coming in the
It's
summertime,
coming.
Cheese.
Who's dropping first? Like X-Define or Frank Ocean? Like, what's going on here?
Frank
Frank
Ocean.
Ocean.
Who's
Yeah,
that?
that's a meme.
God fucking damn.
You don't know who Frank Ocean is?
Hey, Cheese, thank you so much for joining up,
Hey,
man,
can we
and
get some
asking a
tomatoes?
question. I appreciate
Chat,
you,
any
man.
tomatoes in chat or what?
Thank you, Cheese. Thank you, Cheese.
W Cheese.
Take it easy, Cheese. Take it easy. All right, let's pick another one. Look at Skeeter over here. I feel like Skeeter's got a good question. I don't know why. I just feel like Skeeter knows something. Hey, Skeeter, what's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for having me, man.
What's going
we
on?
doing?
What's going on, Skeeter? How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Hey, Skeeter, we're doing great, man. I mean, it's been a long day, some delays and stuff, but I don't know about the rest of the calls, but now it's my favorite part of the day, talking to you guys and asking some questions or answering
Awesome,
some
man.
questions.
Yeah.
What's up,
Yeah,
Skeeter?
you had a
What do you
long
got
day
for us?
yesterday too. All right, so I got a good
Yup.
one. I really want to hear what I think a good one. I want to hear what Pat has to say about this because I know he hates the franchise setup. But
Oh shit.
Oh,
basically, basically, obviously, the 25 mil was supposed to be, you know, a big way that the league made money, and that didn't work out as expected. But my question is, I like from BO2, all that shit, like the CWL, the OpenGB, like that's the way to go. But my question is, how do you make that? How do you set that up so that it's profitable? So where like somebody running the league, running the CWL or whatever they'll call it, how are they going to be making their money off of a setup like that?
Fuck, if you had asked this question on Friday, this would have been like a perfect like on a map question. But go ahead, Pat, if you want to take it.
Well, I think the problem is this isn't just a Call of Duty problem, right? Like esports as a whole has a massive issue with monetizing the amount of fandom that we have. I don't think that question has been answered. I don't you know, profitability in esports is still a question. I think it's going to be a question for a long time still.
Yeah.
You know, in my opinion, I think franchising made that question worse. I think, you know, expenses went through the roof in a franchising model when esports still had no profitability, and I think that's why we're seeing, you know, what we're seeing now, because a lot of the VC money has dried up significantly. And so I don't think there is a solution there. I think the thing with the non-franchise model is it's just better for everybody. And expenses would come down. I think Adam made a good point. Like if you know, if Challengers 2, just using it as an example, like that's gonna have to go to console. There's no sustainability to run Challengers in this kind of COD ecosystem on PC. It's just not realistic. I'm actually surprised that they allowed Challengers to be on PC to begin with, but I think top to bottom, there's going to have to be a lot of changes just to reduce expenses, but I don't think profitability is going to be solved regardless of whether we're in franchising or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with Pat. I mean, look, media rights is not making any of these leagues any money. Like this isn't the NFL, NBA, whatever. They don't own the venues they play in, so they're not bringing any gate. Merchandise really doesn't scale that big. Partnerships, I mean, across the board, especially with the entertainment industry going through strikes this year, hasn't been super prevalent. So it's just difficult on the org side of the business. And for the publishers, I think Adam made a good point on Friday. Like this better alignment in the fact that esports is playing to invest in from a participation standpoint. It's a great funnel, but it's a marketing exercise, and making it a standalone thing is we're still too early for that.
The one thing I really don't
Pay-per-view,
understand
pay-per-view,
is
imagine.
well, that's already been tried. Did you
They
guys
tried
ever
out
buy the
MLG.
Wait, was that a
StarCraft?
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the MLG StarCraft pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I bought one of those.
Octoshape plugin, baby. Octoshape does really like YouTube and shit.
Wait, they tried to pay gate fucking.
I didn't know about this. I don't remember.
I didn't know.
So,
about that.
so the way
it wasn't just the tournament though. It was like you got the higher quality stream.
Yep.
You got
okay.
you got some
You got
like random
VODs.
different rewards. Yeah,
That's
you got
cool.
VODs.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I'm
For the
not
time, now
against.
it's based
I'm
on
really not against some pay-per-view model in esports as long as it makes sense. It's obviously it can't be a high cost to entry, right? It would have to be a low amount of money, and there would have to be benefits that are worth it. But
I mean,
regardless of
Overwatch League tried it. I mean, they tried it on Twitch. Remember, it was the Overwatch League. What was it called? Season Pass? I forget what it's called. It's just hard to come up with those benefits, Pat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, 4K videos are prevalent for free these days.
But that goes back, like, well, I still don't understand why we don't have POVs. Like,
100%.
dude, do you know how many people would pay to watch just
That's
one
what League
player's
does.
POV on a team?
I don't think
yeah.
they still do it. But they had ProView in League where you could watch
I
individual
think
POVs.
a lot of that is on Activision.
Or have a 24/7 listen in, like team rev share. There's a lot, yeah. But my thing is the biggest issue in Call of Duty, in my opinion, regardless of profitability, is how, you know, like. If we go, let's go back to 08, right? Like when competitive COD, in my opinion, really started, it was like the 08 PCLs for COD 4.
Yeah.
It's been 16 years now. And in 16 years, we have still not aligned with the developers and the publishing on Call of Duty from an esports
100%.
standpoint. Like that's never been aligned. There's been a divide for 16 years. And in my personal opinion, until that alignment is done, there is no hope on improvement. That's just my personal opinion. Nothing will improve until, and Adam referenced the business side of things, and that's obviously, I would say 50% of it. But like until the three, right, community, developers and publishers get aligned on what the vision is for esports, nothing is going to happen.
That was going to be my answer to the question too. It's just like the every man for himself outlook on Call of Duty specifically is like just going to bring everyone down at the same time. Like making these orgs throw the events instead of there being not like a crowd fund, but just a pool of money to put on events every season. We're like, oh, these orgs have to take the initiative to shell out millions of dollars to put on these events. Like if there was just any sort of rising tide lifts all ships mentality when it comes to COD, things would be going so much better. But it's just every man for
COD has it
himself.
even worse too because it's year to year, right?
Yeah.
Like games like let's just use CS or League or Valorant, like they're working with one person every time. It doesn't really change, right? But like COD is, you know, you literally have different developers who obviously control majority of their game year to year, and also Activision involved, and it's like it's so many hoops to jump through.
Because you go from like people that really love competitive COD and are willing to help out to like devs that just couldn't give a fuck less if it existed.
Like BO1 was a great example. Like Black Ops 1, Vandahar, Maddox. There was a lot of like high level Treyarch studio directors and employees that came to some of those MLG events in 2011. And then the next year when Modern Warfare 3 came out, we didn't even have LAN. Like we had no tools, we had nothing, and so there was literally zero support for competitive that whole year, and it was a dead year in competitive. I know people like to say like, you know, that Optic Apex team ran it, but they had to go to Europe and play in like basically the equivalent of local EGL events because MLG just had to give up on the product for an entire year just because there was nothing there. And like
I mean that trend has continued all the way to recently, bro. I like when you go dev to dev, like Treyarch obviously gives a fuck. When IW cycle rolls around, it is chalked. There's like no like initiative at all when it comes to the
and think about it from the developer side too. Like if they don't like, let's say they don't like or care about esports or this community at all, or just the competition side, they also look at it as a rev share loss on their end, right? Like if there's microtransactions involved for esports, you know, to some of these developers who don't care about esports, like it's a loss. There's lost revenue there, right? That's money being spent on something that they have to give a rev share to somebody else. Like there's so many issues.
There's a lot of answers to your questions, Skeeter, if you can't tell.
That part, no, 100%. That's why I wanted to ask. But that part is like what's always confused me because like they are really uninvolved in this entire side of the game. So, but there is money for them to be made, like absolutely, that they're not making in this side of the community. So that's what I never understood, why they won't just try and work with some of you
They just
guys.
don't care, bro. They just don't care. They make so much money just making a new game every year. It's just like to them, it's not even worth their energy.
Competitive COD is less than like 1%.
At the end of the day, Adam put it nicely. Like when it's a marketing exercise, I mean, the league would take what, or the league or the function of the league is somewhere between probably like 10 to 20 mil. They spend 100+ mil probably marketing the game. That might be way off. It could be way bigger.
Probably 300+.
Bro, it's insane. It's insane. So to drop in the bucket for them and
competitive COD.
I think realigning it under the BU and then being as a market exercise, really trying to push the MTX around the teams and around champs, getting crowdfunding into champs, just that funnel participation. I think you'll like get growth and engagement, and profitability will come with time. You don't
capitalizing
need it
on the bell
right
curve that Adam mentioned as well.
The problem is
taking a random month break off.
We've skipped a lot of steps, and I think that's like what Adam was talking about on the show. Is we tried to go 0 to hero really fast. Really fast.
And just missed some shit in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah.
Good question, though.
Yeah, Skeeter. Thank
Thanks,
you so
brother.
much. Thank you so much for joining up. Thank you for your question, man. I appreciate you being in here, man. You have a good night. All right, bro.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks for having me, boys.
Yes,
Keep
sir.
it coming, man. Thank you guys.
I'm
Can I
down.
shout someone out really quick?
Yeah.
We have the rotation rated us with 100+ viewers.
Oh,
Shout out to
hell yeah,
Rotation
man.
guys.
Shout out to the rotation. W Raid, man. Everybody show some love to the rotation for the raid. We appreciate that. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job on social, giving us all the news.
and running challengers tournaments while we were talking about
Challengers
the lack of the first
tournaments,
cup next
yeah,
week.
that too.
They've run like quite a few pub cups, so shout out to them.
Yep, shout out to them, man. Shout out to the rotation. We'll do a couple more. We'll do 2 more questions. Let's go with, let me see here. Who's looking like they got a good... See, I said Skeeter was going to have a good question. Did I not say that? I said that.
Yeah.
Ben, go ahead. Pick one, bro. Who's got a good question, Ben? Let's see if you got
Why don't we pick AC2210?
AC221... AC where? Oh, here he is.
It's a young boy picture with a hat.
I invited him to speak.
That's a ... for me.
AC, what's up, man?
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We hear you. What's going on? You got a question?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Really quick, so before I start, this is gonna sound biased, but it definitely is. So I'm a Rokkr fan, and this series didn't really change much for me today. Yeah, thanks. It didn't really change much in terms of what I thought about the team already. It just kind of proved I was right about the things I already thought. Linz is a baby Hydra. How can they effectively this year like find a way to build around him to at least get some sort of decent results?
Get rid of everybody on the team except for him.
So Chris, you're a challengers you're a challengers guy. You know a lot about it. Like, how would you construct this team if you were the GM?
I mean, well, honestly, they missed their opportunity in the offseason to get like damn near that whole roster with Abuza, Linz, etc. Starting from the ground up right now. Fuck, dude, that's a lot of. I mean, the only thing you probably keep, the only person you probably keep on there right now is maybe like Vivid. I actually think Lamar hasn't been playing terrible, but he's also just like, not the greatest.
You just know the ceiling though, and
it's
like,
just exactly, the ceiling.
Linz is good, bro. Linz is actually pretty good.
He's gross. Yeah,
I don't know, bro. It's kind of hard. Like I said, I think maybe if you want to keep one, if you were to keep somebody on the team, you'd keep Vivid and Linz, and maybe get some people from Challengers to support him there. I mean, I just don't really know where you would go, man.
What do you think of Cruz from Challengers?
I like Cruz a lot, but he's probably, at least skill set wise, probably one of the worst on his team. Not that he's bad. I'm saying like in comparison to his teammates.
Yeah.
But he is a good player. He's very good at search.
Is he the one that got dropped from Boston?
No. He's an Australian player that came over to playing in Challengers.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Craze was supposed to be Doug Spencer Martin's next best thing. He's good. Doug was telling me that guy's going to the league 100% and this and that, and then they dropped him for Yeez. Who Yeez has been I feel like Yeez has been making his mark in Challenges for a while now.
I think you'd like keep Vivid and maybe bring in like somebody like, I think Lunars is good. Or maybe like pick up somebody from the Faze Black team. Or maybe if you could get Nasty, you'd get Nasty and Vivid or Linz on the same team from Europe. And then maybe bring in somebody that's like a veteran, something like Fellow or Brack. And then I don't know really you would go from there, to be honest.
No, but I don't know
if you're looking at Challengers.
I have bias.
And ASIM too.
I have bias. I was gonna say Faze Black. I think the Faze Black guys have been really good, and I think Fellow's team as well, Chris. Has
that's why I mentioned them both. That's why I said like Fellow.
There's something about Tyler Fellow and like his teams. I feel like his teams are just always like on their bullshit. Tyler Fellow, he every day in practice, he's gonna give it everything,
I also 100%, but also like I mean, this is just a little bit off topic, but you got to give a shout out to like the people he's playing with, like Yuli and Turiel. A lot of you people don't know Yuli as much as like you might, because he was only on London for a short time and they obviously didn't play well. But Yuli and Turiel are two players that I coached in Challengers, if you guys remember, and they are just they're very hard workers. They watch a ton of fucking VOD. They sit there, they do a lot of research. They're very systematic in terms of the way they approach the game and the way they look at the game. And Dave Patty's on that team too, and he's also very nerdy in that aspect. So like, at least from Bellows team perspective, like they work hard, bro, and like they actually study the game. Like they don't just like sit there and scrim. So shout out to those guys for the way they approach the game, because I think a lot of people could learn from that. They work hard, man. They do.
Yeah. Well, AC, I appreciate you joining up and asking a question, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Happy birthday, man.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night.
You too. I wanted to wait until he finished, but Tom, you made me think of something which I just rethought about.
Yeah,
and I feel old as fuck. So Yeez grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I went to college at Wilmington, North Carolina. And there's a main street. It's called Market Street in Wilmington. And I drove by a middle school. Yeez was in middle school.
That's insane. So you think you drove by Yeez? You think you were driving by Yeez just like he was just
when I was
just going out in the playground,
were winning chips, like you're winning chips and he's on the playground, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Elementary school, not middle school. Yeah.
That's actually fucking insane. That's insane.
So random.
That is no, but
like
it's
11
because I
years older
mentioned
now.
G's. Yeah, but that's crazy. You guys are from the same. You guys are from the same spot or what?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I found out because in the very beginning of Cold War Challengers, I teamed with him for like a couple of weeks or a month or whatever.
Yeah.
And he told me, I was like, what the fuck?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
From the same, you're from the same town, basically.
Yeah, no, I always get there's always some people from like your hometown that know about COD or like no, you know what I mean. You always got like some of those people. There's actually a lot of people from my hometown that love COD, like love the COD space. Whenever I go back, they be asking a bunch of questions. But
Today I was getting a haircut, and like I ended up having to do a walk-in because my barber canceled on me.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there getting a haircut, and he's like, "Yo, are you a streamer?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I play COD." And he's like, "Yeah, I think you look familiar." And it's just so random. And like, I don't live in Austin. I live in like a town outside of it.
Yeah.
So it's just like so weird when you get like recognized in like a way.
People, you were getting that low taper fade like Ninja or what?
The same barber?
Yeah,
or
dude.
a new
Literally.
barber?
No, a new barber, a new one.
Oh, I thought you meant like you were going to your same barber.
Everybody
It's like,
say
he never
cap.
No.
Just like,
Cap.
oh, you're a streamer?
I'm yeah, it was crazy. It's just weird, bro.
Cap, dude.
Yo,
It's not cap. It's dead.
Let's
I'm
do
dead
one
serious.
more. Let's do one more. Right now,
One more
listen.
question.
Right
Yo,
now, I'm
Craig,
looking
yo,
at
Chris,
Zoot,
pick one.
man. I'm looking at Zoot, but Chris, you pick one. You pick one.
W Cap, pick a question.
Oh, you want? Wait. You want to pick Zoot? Wait, if that's Zoot, who I know, yeah, let's pick Zoot, man.
You know him or no?
I don't know if that's him. I think it is. But
Oh, he's not
let's pick
raising his
Zoot.
hand. No, he's not raising his hand.
Yo, Zoot, raise your hand, man.
Nah,
It is
he's-
Zoot. Please get Zoot, bro.
Is this our last question, Tom? or
He's
is
a
there one more?
W yapper, dude.
Yeah, I say we do one more.
He's
one
raising
more.
his hand. He's raising his hand.
He said, "How the fuck do I
He's
do it?"
raising his hand. Get him in.
I did. I invited him to speak. I invited him.
All right,
Hey, Zoot,
come on,
what
let's
up,
hear it.
man?
It's good.
What's up, man? You got a question or what, man?
Yes, my question is, how will ranked handle the bans?
What do you mean by bands?
Oh, 4 smokes, 4 trophies, high grain.
Oh well, I got news for you, brother. Like well, okay, look, you'll get to certain levels, and like by the middle of the seasons, like people will be mostly following the GAs, but unless stuff is restricted,
No, they will not.
Brother, there
they're
are
not gonna
8
follow
trophies
shit.
on the map at all times.
No one's running any GA.
Yeah, no one's-
There's
A
nothing.
lot of shit is not actually banned in CDL rule set right now, which people will attempt to run, like the longbow, for example.
Bro, I tried to look at the game
Yeah.
from an objective standpoint of like the casual perspective and the pro perspective, because I think that's just how you should do it. And I was like, oh, you guys should allow DDoS. Why? Because, well, it helps counteract trophies. And it's we need a field upgrade that is worthwhile using that isn't just trophies. You can argue Dead Silence is, but no, you just run Ninja or Cobra Boots or whatever. So basically, there's no second field upgrade that's worth using. That unlike MW2, where Dead Silence was OP as fuck. So you run into this issue where unless it's like somehow restricted, everyone's just gonna run trophies.
Pros can't even follow GAs. You think rank play kids?
Yeah,
do?
no,
Oh,
it's,
shit.
the GA following
I
is
don't understand
chopped.
how
It's
2
just
pros aren't running Dead Silence and 2 aren't running trophies. Like
Good thing, Pat.
that's so simple to me.
Dude, you disappointed me. I thought you were gonna ask a better question.
no, it wasn't that bad of a
mean-
question. I mean, also we gotta worry about cheaters as well.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
and him are friends, so I'm just fucking with him.
You know, I was thinking like maybe it could be like ban and protect or something, like something like that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, imagine it's
Ban and protect.
instead of
That's the best shit.
instead of agent select, it's like a field upgrade select, right? Where you pick
The
it.
best shit.
That would be kind of cool. I feel like that'd be really easy too. It just loads up. You have like 10 seconds to choose, and then once your teammate chooses one thing, you can't choose it. Like you just gotta beat
Yeah,
them
once
to
2
it.
trophies are chosen, you have to pick Betty.
Yeah. You pretty much just have to beat them to it, or you're fucked. And some people, I don't know, some people might not want to run. I don't know, it gets a little complicated, I feel like, because people run different perks and shit. Nah, that wouldn't really matter. Yeah, I guess you could, the field upgrade would work, and the tacticals would work. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something to look into. If that's actually going to happen, I feel like that's a stretch, to be honest, but that would be dope. But Zoot, thank you for your question, man. I appreciate you.
I would just like to point
Carolina
out,
need to blow it up, by the way.
these are all things you do not have to worry about in ZooMAFia Discord. It's #ad.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Phenomenal.
Plug, W
Absolutely
plug.
phenomenal. W plug.
W plug.
Also, shout out to Chandler for obviously he has the Discord all organized, man. Chandler's just the ZooMAFIA Discord go. He's got everything organized. He got everybody in the call and got all his stuff set up. The flank stage over here. So
Yeah, this Discord is crazy.
yeah, we got
I'm like scrolling through. There's so much.
we
stuff.
have Discord just hit over 30,000 people, man. We're at 32,000 people. So if you guys want to join in, there's a lot of stuff going on. I know Chandler. There's 8s going on all the time, and there's
I'm
like an
predicting
elo
a double
system.
up, Tom. 50K into the 2024.
You think so? 50K at the end of 2024? We could definitely do that. We could definitely do that for sure.
And then Tom, when it hits 100K, a ZooMAFIA GTA 6 RP server.
Damn, hey Slay, let's talk off stream,
shit.
Slay. Let's talk off stream because it might already be in the works. You know what I mean, Pat?
Shit.
It might already be happening. We just got a little while to go. GTA 6 is,
a little while.
you know what I mean? You guys want to do one more? Fuck it, or no? Are you guys tired?
Let's grab another one.
You want to do one more? Okay, let's do
one more.
Let's do one more. Let's do Frostbite. I feel like he's been patiently waiting. I don't know what the hell's going on in his avatar. I don't know what's really going on there. Frostbite, what's going on, man?
Nothing much.
Yo, what's your question, man?
I had a little bit of preface question first. Are there 4 challengers teams from the franchise teams? Like, so we have Boston Academy and then like Faze Black, but do we have like 2 more?
We've had Minnesota in the past has done one. London has.
All of them stopped. Yeah,
A lot of them stopped. Yeah.
Okay.
And even
'cause my
Faze Black is
question-
Tommy's, right? Not necessarily Atlanta Faze.
Yeah, that's fair. My question was just gonna be, do you think for champs, it'd be a good idea to adopt some kind of variation of the League of Legends Worlds 2023 format, like with the Swiss stage, so like all 12
play-ins?
teams can participate? Yeah, kinda. But like mainly like the Swiss stage, and then that leads into like your quarters, semis, and finals.
You're asking for Swiss and COD?
I mean, it might get. We have all 12 teams in there, and it would solve like if you want to have 4 challengers teams up there. I think that would make
Swiss is an interesting format. Swiss also has some significant downsides.
How
to
does Swiss work?
Broadcast, and so basically Swiss is like generally it's win 3 before you lose 2, or win 3 before you lose 3.
Okay, all right.
The problem is you have to wait for every match in each Swiss round to complete before you draw the rest of Swiss. So from a broadcast standpoint, from a scheduling standpoint, it sucks a lot of time. If anything gets delayed, the whole schedule gets thrown off. So if you've got a entire week and a half to run an event like the way that like CS does and other esports, then great. But if you've got like a 4-day event, it's just like very difficult to do. And
Didn't COD do Swiss at like a pro-am or something? Wasn't there like a recent Swiss event, or am I tweaking?
COD event
have
at
no
Swiss?
idea. I don't remember.
Was it the pro-am?
Oh, it actually
last
was
year?
the pro-am. It was the pro-am, I
It
think.
was, right?
No,
It
that was
win
not
before you lose
Swiss.
to.
No, we
That was
definitely
GSL.
had something where
That
it
was
went
GSL.
2 before you
Was
lose
that
2.
GSL? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is
Yeah,
the
because main reason I was asking is
way
just
for
because
groups.
everybody talks about the 3 wins for a chip sort of thing. So I mean, it would just extend out the champs there and just give every team, even if you're top 12, you get the chance to at least compete.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say is, especially because there's rumors of an off-season tournament this year, like especially if it's 12 plus like maybe 6, maybe 8 more teams. Swiss is not that bad. If they've got a week and a half to run that event, and you want to do a really fair group stage going to a bracket, like Swiss is great. If you've got
We
a lot
need
of
pool
event days to
play,
learn.
16 team double elim with grand finals being a best of 11 continuation. Period. No best of 9s. No fucking round 1 buys. No veto advantages. None of that bullshit.
Yeah, that doesn't sound that bad.
1-0 starts.
The 1-0 star had to be the worst idea ever. I hated that. I just feel like starting a series up 1-0 is just so fugazi. It just sounds so dumb. But yo, thank you for your question, Frostbite. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no worries. You guys have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too, man. Thank you so much for joining in. All righty, man. Okay, I think that's gonna do it for the community questions. I wish we could get to everybody, but you know, it's been a long day. I think we're gonna cut it there. They're calling for one more. They want one more. Was that not a good question?
No, I think we should have did. That was a good question.
I think that was a good question as well. People were saying L question. I thought it was a great question, guys. I thought
That
it
was a good
phenomenal
question.
Ben, sing us out with a part.
I
And
got
get us
you.
out of here, bro. Sink us out, man. Sink us out. Do what you do. It's Benji and Asim, another day in the office. Look at this guy. This guy's an absolute animal. Let me drag this out so you guys can see the whole hole. You know what I mean? Any day now, Ben. Any day now.
I gotta move the camera. I gotta make sure you can see it.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Chris, you look like you're lounging out. You got your feet kicked up. What do you think is going on here, Chris? You think he's making this or what?
Fucking whiffing again, bro. Like,
yeah, I think he's gonna
Ben hasn't had socks on in 4 days.
He's been getting cooked.
Yeah, where's all his socks at, bro? He doesn't have any socks. Oh,
Yo,
he sinks it
Asim-
nice and easy. Just
He synced it, though.
bro, put some slippers on.
The disrespect.
Put some fucking yo. Sit down, Ben.
I hear the shit all the way from here. The disrespect. Yeah, suck my dick.
I hear you on
All
sucking
right,
dick.
man. All right, take it easy. Okay, listen, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube at anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites we're on. Go follow at The Flank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials. As always, take care, brush your hair, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Flank, man. Take it easy, guys. Take it easy.
Take it easy. Carolina need to blow.